If you're using ChatGPT the same way everybody else is, opening it, asking it a question, getting an answer, and then closing it, you are leaving a lot of value on the table. So what if AI could actually remember your voice, your business, and your frameworks? And you could execute workflows automatically without having to re-explain them every time. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I built a personal AI operating system using Claude Code and GitHub. An AI agent that understands my business, executes repeatable processes, and compounds over time. And by the end of this video, you'll see exactly how you can build this for yourself with a simple MVP that you can expand on. This is the exact system that I use to run multiple businesses and create content and generate and repeat workflows at scale. And I genuinely believe this is going to change how every service business operates. So here's the problem. Most people are using ChatGPT like a one-off chatbot. You paste a prompt, get a basic answer, then you have to go back and forth with the AI to get a better answer that you're actually okay with. And then the next time you need something, you have to re-explain everything over again. Yeah, you could use ChatGPT projects, but they only help just a little bit. They don't keep consistent context reliably. They can't execute multi-step workflows autonomously. And most of the times, they don't even understand how your business actually operates. So every time you write SOPs, script content, generate captions, or even quoting jobs, you're starting from scratch. And that's exactly what this personal AI operating system is designed to eliminate. So what is a personal AI operating system? Instead of treating AI as a tool you occasionally use, a personal AI operating system makes AI a part of how your business actually runs. You store your identity here, who you are, your goals, your business model and context, your frameworks, so these are your workflows, SOPs to create different assets in your business, content workflows, pricing logic, and then your outputs. So it stores every output it creates for you so it can learn and improve over time with context. And this is what ChatGPT does not have. So the AI agent just sits on top of that system and pulls from it automatically whenever you request something. So when you say generate a YouTube description for this video, it doesn't give you a generic output that you have to refine like ChatGPT does. It pulls from your voice guide, checks your content library for similar videos, uses the YouTube description framework you've pre-created, and outputs something that actually sounds like you following your exact structure in one try. No reprompting, no explaining, it just works. And the best part, you can access this from your phone, your laptop, literally anywhere. It's in the Claude app, so you can just download it on the App Store and use it from anywhere. And because it's connected to GitHub, everything is saved and version controlled automatically. So how is this even different from ChatGPT? So ChatGPT is pretty cool, but it's really limited for business use cases. You can save some context with memories, but it doesn't persist well across different sections and different use cases you need it for. It's definitely not designed to execute complex workflows, and it definitely doesn't save outputs in an organized way. With Claude and GitHub, you're building a persistent knowledge base. So every interaction is going to build on the last, every framework you create gets stored and reused, and every output is saved automatically. The AI doesn't just answer questions, it performs tasks based on your specific business logic. And if you wanted to go even deeper, since this is in GitHub, you could connect this to any AI model you want. It doesn't have to be Claude. You could just use Cursor and connect any AI model you want. But Claude, in my opinion, is the best starting point because the agent is super simple and really easy to use, and it's a great way to start out. So what tools are you going to need for this? The entire system runs on Claude and GitHub. That's it. So you're going to need a Claude Pro subscription, which is $20 a month. It's just like a ChatGPT subscription. You can go to $100 a month if you're using it pretty consistently once you scale into bigger tasks that this AI is going to go through, so you can get more usage. And then GitHub, it's completely free. That's your entire tech stack. Claude is the agent in this situation. It can read your files, execute on frameworks, and save and store outputs. GitHub is where everything gets stored. Your identity files, your frameworks, your outputs, and it keeps it all organized and version controlled for simple backend management. And you don't even need to be a developer. You don't know how to code. You literally just go into Claude Code, tell it exactly what you want to create based on the prompt that I'll provide you here later in this video, and it'll build everything out for you. As simple as that. You don't have to write a single line of code to do this. So the setup is really simple. You're going to just have Claude Code create the GitHub repository and how you want it to work. I'll give you a prompt linked it in the description, an exact step-by-step on how to do this so you can get started right away. So what the identity is, it kind of just stores who you are, your business context, your voice guide, different funnels and offers you're currently running, and just anything that Claude needs to know every time it talks to you. This is the foundation. Every time the AI agent is generating something, it is looking at this folder first. So it knows exactly what you want and exactly how you communicate. So every time it's responding to you, it has ultimate context on who you are, your business, and how you operate. Frameworks is where your workflows are stored. So how you generate YouTube descriptions, how you write social media captions, how you write copy, how you create ads, how you quote jobs, how you create SOPs, and many, many more. These are literally just reusable templates or prompts that the AI can execute repeatedly on demand. And then outputs store everything you create. All your content, all your documents, all your quotes, literally every interaction you have with the agent. This builds your content library over time so the AI agent can reference past work and maintain consistency. And then all you'll have to do is just set up a repository, which I'll show you how to do here, and then just have Claude Code write all these files. It's as simple as that. And then Claude will be able to read all the files, execute on these frameworks, and save all these outputs, and it becomes your new operating system. So I'll show you here real quick how my framework works. So I have my GitHub repo, and then you'll just go into your folder that Claude already has created for you, the AIOS folder, and you'll see here that I have my frameworks, my identity, my outputs, and then I just have some README and context files. And then within the identity, I have business context, core info about me, my current state, and my voice guide. I can even expand on this and go even deeper if I would like to, with market positioning, etc., and different business models and offers I'm currently running. And then obviously your frameworks, I have prompts and workflows. So prompts are just repeatable one-step processes that it can just execute on in one time. And then workflows are more robust actions that it can take, where it's going to take multiple actions to get a structured output for you. And then outputs, this is where you can store everything business related, content related, personal related. You can structure as many files and folder types you'd like in here based on the outputs you'd like to save. And then you just have an AI context, so the AI knows exactly how to operate within this code base, and then a README file that it has to read every time, so it knows exactly how to do all of this. Super simple. So let me show you how this actually works. So say I just filmed a video and I need a quick YouTube description. I can open up Claude, I can paste the video transcript and say, hey, generate me a YouTube description for this. Claude's gonna automatically pull my YouTube description framework. It's going to apply my voice guide, and it's going to reference my content library, suggest related videos to link into the YouTube description so other people can keep going down my funnel. And it outputs a complete description with the exact framework that I want. And it's not generic AI slop. It's going to sound exactly like me because it uses my voice guide, and it follows my exact structure because it's using my framework. And it's also SEO optimized because I have a framework that literally tells you how to do everything. This entire process takes less than 30 seconds. And before this, I would have to go back and forth with ChatGPT, have trouble. I'd have to paste all the links in there manually, and it was a very tedious process. So I'll show you an example of what I did here earlier. So I had to re-optimize all the YouTube descriptions that I had on my channel. So I would literally just paste in, hey, here's the description I want to optimize, or you could literally just say, here is the YouTube transcript of a video that I want you to write a description for. And it'll go through and it'll write the optimized description. It'll have my links in there, and it'll have the timestamps built into it as well, hashtags, connect with me, different tools and resources for affiliate purposes. And then all I have to do is just copy this output and paste it into my YouTube description. It's as simple as that. And then to show you that this output was stored, we'll go into our outputs and into our content section, and I'll go into YouTube, and I'll see my descriptions are stored in here. So all these descriptions have been stored for the AI to reference, and we can also kind of improve and relay them more naturally. And it'll automatically title everything for you, store everything in a very organized, timely manner. And the beauty of this is that it's going to execute perfectly every time for you. So you just make the framework once, and then you input the transcript, and then the AI is going to analyze everything, extract it, output it, and then save it to a location. So it's going to be the same consistent output every time. With ChatGPT, with any other agent platform, if you're not prompting it correctly, you're going to have to re-explain yourself, and it's not going to be the exact framework and wording that you want it to be, and you're going to have to be more hands-on trying to edit it and optimize certain things within it. So Claude literally executes it with perfect consistency every single time. And it's the same concept for social media. I'll tell Claude, hey, generate me social media captions for this video, and I'll just put the topic in there. And it uses my social media captions framework, creates Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook captions all simultaneously, because some of my CTAs are going to be different based on the platform I'm posting the short form on. Each platform will get the same hook, but a different body and different CTAs, as you can see here. TikTok for my funnel is always driving to Instagram, And then Facebook's always driving Instagram as well because it knows it's in the framework. And because it's referencing my voice guide, the captions don't sound like a generic AI. They're literally perfect. They sound like me, they're lowercase, they're proper capitalized in certain situations, and it's real and conversational, not some corporate stuff, no M dashes, no AI generic captions. Literally 3 platforms, 1 video, 1 request in 30 seconds, and consistent messaging throughout. And the beauty of this is I can even automate the content posting. So I could upload the video in here and have AI transcribe it, and then I could also have it write the captions and then go to an external API and post all of these videos simultaneously with the captions, with a thumbnail. Literally perfect. And I'm just scratching the surface here. This is the simplest use cases you can see it for, and you can get really automated in the workflow process here. It's truly special what this AI agent can do when you give it the right context and the right frameworks. And this also works for operational stuff too. If you're a service business, you can build frameworks to quote jobs, write proposals, create SOPs, onboard different clients. Literally anything you do repeatedly in your business, you just think about it, okay, how can I make an SOP for this and have AI just know how to do it every single time if I just give it the context. I haven't fully built this out yet. This is kind of just the MVP of my AI OS. But the structure is there. You can create the framework for how you actually calculate quotes, store your pricing logic, and the AI will execute every time you ask for it to quote. Same for SOPs. Instead of writing step-by-step guides manually, every time you refine a process, you just brain dump the process into Claude, and then it formats it into a clean SOP using your template, saving you literally hours. Your imagination is literally your limit here. Once you understand how these frameworks work, you can automate basically any repetitive task in your business. So a framework is just a structured prompt that tells Claude exactly how to perform a task. It includes the input, what you will provide, the process, so the step-by-step instructions, and then the output format, what the final result should look like with real examples, and where to save it. For example, as you can see here, this is my YouTube description prompt. It'll tell it what I'm gonna actually do, what the production and what's the outcome of this, the structure, exactly how I want my descriptions to be structured, the prompt, so exactly what Claude is to do, step by step, analyze it, generate it, add everything that it needs to in there. And then I give it the input format as well, different smart features that it should automatically use when generating the output, and real world examples of how I want it to actually look so it doesn't screw it up. That's the most important part. If you can provide it with at least 2 to 3 real world examples, it's going to give you perfect outputs every single time. And then I also have the output location, so where it's supposed to save these descriptions and how it's supposed to title the descriptions, if that makes sense. And once that framework exists, Claude just executes it every time. You don't have to re-explain, you don't have to tweak the prompt, it's just consistent every single time. And the coolest part is frameworks can reference other frameworks. So if you're generating a YouTube description, it might also reference your voice guide framework, your content library to find other descriptions and figure out where it matches, and your transcript analysis process. It's modular and extremely scalable. This is not a productivity hack. This is legitimately building an AI operating system for your business. I believe every service business owner, solo entrepreneur, content creator, and literally anyone doing repetitive tasks should be using this, because the alternative is wasting hours every week and just operating at the same speed, doing the same thing over and over with AI, re-explaining yourself when you could literally do it in seconds if you build a system like this. And this is just the MVP for me. I'm really going to be getting into workflows and adding new frameworks, referencing my guide, building out the content library, and letting the system get smarter and more robust over time to really optimize a lot of processes in my business and my day-to-day. And you can also segment this for business use and personal use, which I would recommend for everybody. You can use it personally for journaling workflows, for tracking different ideas and strategies that you have, different learning systems and what you want to learn and how you learn. You can also use this for market research and competitor analysis and have it store all this information here so it can always reference that when you're writing copy. You can also automate it to be able to track all your numbers simultaneously as well with a Google tracking system. It's literally just an operating system for how you interact with AI, period. So now I'm gonna get into the live build and kind of show you how I would do this on the back end if I had to start from scratch. So step 1 is you're gonna wanna go into GitHub and create a new repository. So for this example, I'm just gonna re-look up GitHub. You're gonna make an account and then you're just gonna click new repository. You're gonna name it whatever you want. I like to name it my name and then the OS. So I'll just do an example. You don't have to do anything description-wise. You want to make sure it's a private repository so no one else is seeing your data, and then click create. And then it'll create that repository for you. So I just created the repository. I hope you saw that. I don't know why my screen tweaked out there. But you just go in there, make sure it's a private repository. That's literally all you need to do. Cool. So once the repository is made, you're gonna go into Claude Code. So you'll look up Claude Code. This is where you'll jump in. You'll make sure you have a Claude account, at least a $20 Claude account. If you don't, you're not gonna be able to use this system. So you can download it for your computer, but I'm just gonna use it on the web for now. Cool. So now that I'm in Claude Code, I'm gonna make sure that I have my repository I just created connected. You will have to use and connect GitHub to your Claude, which I can't show you because I already connected mine. So I'll go here and I'll paste this prompt. So I'll have this in the description. It'll basically tell it exactly how to fill out the form and the structure. So I'm gonna show you here. It's basically user inputs. So what you're gonna have to do is just go into the content platforms that you use, different content types you create, business systems that you need, that you're planning on creating, and then personal systems that you need. And then you can obviously elaborate on this depending on what structure you need. And then it's going to be able to fill the exact folder structure for you and create the exact files that you need to in GitHub. So I'm gonna rip this right now. We're just gonna start it with the basic prompt and get right into it. So it's gonna generate that here for us now. And while it's waiting, I recommend you just go into Claude and tell it, hey, this is what I'm building. I need to go through the process of creating the identity files, then the framework files, and also the output structure. And it's going to be able to go in and basically help you do this entire process from scratch. So Claude Code is going to work in the background. You don't have to worry about keeping that open. And then what I'm going to do in Claude is just start a new chat, and then I'm going to literally paste in that prompt and say, and I'm going to tell it that it's going to go through, acknowledge that, and it's going to help me build this from the ground up. So I'm going to say, don't create files. I'll give you guys a prompt for this. Cool. Just give it a little extra context. It was probably just a little tripped up there. Then I'm going to go in, tell it the platforms, and then it's going to help me create the exact file. I did it where I just had it ask me questions, and then I would literally just do voice notes, paste them in, and then it would essentially give me everything, right? What do you do professionally? What's your expertise? What drives you? How do you operate? So this is kind of just allowing it to structure the core MD file, and then we'll go into building the current state, like what does my life look like right now? The voice guide, this is where you're gonna wanna give it real examples of how you already communicate, text messages, or how you want your brand to communicate, either or. And then obviously business context is where you're gonna get into the nitty gritty with your business. And then Claude's already gonna be trained on this exact structure. So you just go through step by step. Once it gives you a output, like a file, you'll read through it quick, copy it, and then you'll head back into Claude Code, which is currently working for us, creating these files. So it's literally gonna go through, create the files, and then it's gonna commit into our GitHub. It's already connected, so it's gonna put everything in there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're gonna let this finish up here, and we're gonna go into check GitHub, make sure everything's in there correctly. And then we're going to essentially just go through with Claude and say, hey, give it the context, have it create the file, and then you copy the file and say, hey, please put this file in the core MD, and then just paste it directly in there, and then Claude's just gonna put it in there for you, populate it perfectly. Super simple, right? Right now it's just setting up the core structure and how everything works. And obviously these files are just templated for right now. Once you go through the process with Claude and actually build it out, it's gonna be super simple. And this is the easiest way I can show you how to do this. Like AI will walk you step by step through the process. You really just need to set aside, I'd say like an hour to 2 hours to like really get enough context so that I can build this out for you. The hardest part is the identity, and then once you get into the frameworks, super simple. I mean, most people already have SOPs. You can just drop them in, and then it'll be able to reference everything effectively. Cool. So now it's going to commit and push these changes. So we're about done here. And then we'll double check in GitHub to make sure that everything is in there. If you see errors pop up here, it's literally going to solve them itself. So I built this. I had no troubleshooting issues. It was relatively simple. Boom. So I believe it's just been created. It's going to give us the final output here and say, yep, we finished everything. Everything's been committed, and it's going to tell you exactly what it did. I'm going to check our GitHub, do a little refresh here, and boom. Now we see the folder, My AIOS, click on it, and boom. Now we have our identity, outputs, everything we need to. Just like that, we have our frameworks, prompts, templates, workflows, literally everything we need, and it's all structured in here so that it's ready to be populated once you go through the process with AI. And then you have the README file pre-created, telling it exactly how to use this code base, and then context as well for it, for understanding what the purpose of the repository is and how it should be operating with it. Over time, this is going to be updated as you kind of go through with Claude, and just make sure that, when you update it, be like, hey, like we need to also update all the context behind here once you're at like a final stage. And then from there, realistically, you can update all this file information within Claude Code. So if you want to update your personal state and just what's currently happening in your business, give Claude the context, tell it to update the file, it'll update it, and then it'll refer to that from now on. I just kind of like to look at this as it's literally just a knowledge base. You don't have to worry about all this crap up here, issues, pull requests, nothing. This is just a knowledge base. That's it, and it's free. And AI will just continuously add to it, and you can always update things if you need to directly in Claude Code. You're never going to be in GitHub doing anything manually yourself. You're going to be in Claude Code creating this. If you wanted to save some credits, you could probably go in here and add these files directly yourself, right? And just copy and paste them in there, but it's going to structure them a lot better than you would be able to. So that's pretty much the step-by-step process. Like I said, you'll just go into Claude itself and go through, create the identity files, and then you'll build your framework. Test it, it's already connected. You'll just get the Claude app on your phone, and then you can go straight into Claude Code from there, communicate with it. Just make sure you're connected to the repository or the knowledge base, I like to say, that you've created. So if you're serious about using AI in your business, which I think every business, every person should be, you need to stop treating it like a one-off tool. Build an operating system, store your frameworks, train it on your voice in your business, and let it automate the repetitive stuff so you can focus on what actually matters. This is literally the simplest MVP version that you can start with. You have identity files, a couple frameworks that it can start working through that are the most prioritative within your business and your day-to-day. You have a clean folder structure so that it expands and grows and it doesn't get messy over time. And then from there, you just keep building. Just add more frameworks as you identify repetitive tasks and just have the same Claude system that you were using before, just build it out for you. And then you just go into Claude Code, say, hey, add this as a framework, boom, and then it'll add it, and then it'll start referencing that in the future when you are asking for it to perform that task for you. And then you'll also be able to build your content library over time, do market research, competitor research. You can even automate content creation with AI and Nano Banana with this AI agent. I'm gonna get way deeper into the flows shortly, and I'll be able to make another video going deeper into the process. I believe this is how AI should be used. And honestly, I think every business is going to operate like this within the next year or two. So I hope this was helpful. And if you need help setting this up yourself, just DM me on Instagram for help. I'll be able to give you some help there. I can build out this entire system for you, at least the framework, and then give you some consultative ideas on how we can actually go in to automating and delegating actual processes like content creation, market and competitor research, ad copy, literally anything that's more specific than just a prompt and an output. We can actually get into automating workflows and having this agent actually perform robust tasks for you. So yeah, if this helped you out, like and subscribe. Make sure to DM me on Instagram at H2Hethan. I'll have a link in the description if you want me to help you build this out directly. This is how I'm operating my business and my life from here on out, and this context is only going to grow over time. You need to start building your system today. It's Ethan. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.